Hello, and welcome back to the land of the seven suns with me, Fishy Plantman, as your host. Okay, this is going to be about the Thanksgiving cactus a bit, maybe a bit on the fish, I don't know. We'll see how long the video turns out to be. But first, I just have to mention this crazy chess game that I just got done playing. And then I'll get back to the plants, I promise. But yeah, I was thinking about a opening in chess that I thought I might want to practice. And it's basically fiend kettling both bishops as quickly as I can. Within reason, of course. It occurred to me with the bishops fiend kettled, and that's... let me think of what fiend kettle... I know what it is, but how I want to explain it. It's when you take your bishop and put it on its longest possible diagonal. So, yeah, it creates an X. Your black bishop's going to be on one side of the board, of course, with the white on the other. But those lines cross, and like the queen side bishop will take, half the squares, and the king side bishop will take the other half of that center square. And you will control that larger center square. I'm not sure if that's a great definition. I probably should have used a board, but I didn't. So that's what it is for anybody that doesn't know the term fiend kettling. I wanted to fiend kettle both of them, and then of course, get a desirable game out of it. So that was the goal, and that's how I started my opening. But a couple of minutes into the actual game, I realized my opponent has no control over the board. Now, that's not to say they're not a decent chess player, I guess I can say. A noob at some level, yes, but yeah, they were very good at annoyingly chasing pieces around and even preventing me from controlling the board. Well, this resulted in a fair bit of anger, because they were just annoyingly chasing my pieces around, keeping me from, getting control of the board. Which I guess could be a strategy in itself, but they never did get control of the board. Well, I realized I was getting angry, and I also realized that that's no good. Basically, you don't really have control over your anger. You can say that you're not angry all you want, or you can admit that you're angry, but you got this under control. No, not as much as you would think. If you're angry, that anger's got more control over you than you may realize. So, I decided, okay, I'm angry, I'm irritated, I need to calm down and, just focus on the game for what it is. That took a while. By the time I legitimately got my temper under control, I had all but lost. So yeah, the game nearly costed or my anger nearly costed me the game in its entirety. I was down to a pawn. I think at this point they had 2 queens. So they were chasing me around with 2 queens. I was like, well, I've lost. It's just a matter of time before he figures it out. But maybe I'll get a stalemate before it happens. Maybe I can somehow force or trick them. I'm not sure. I don't even remember the name, so I'm not sure. That's why I'm keeping their gender out of it, because I really don't know. But yeah, maybe I can force a stalemate, or get lucky and get a stalemate. So I'm running around the board. 2 or 3 checkmates have been blundered. running around. Eventually, 2 things happen. I capture one of the 2 queens, and they capture my last pawn. So it's, in a sense, made things more difficult for them, while they made it impossible for me to win, losing that last pawn. Okay, well, he had 2 queens. I was sure to lose the pawn. But now we're down to 1 queen. He couldn't checkmate me with 2 queens. How does he hope to do it with 1? So, I end up finding a tree to run around, being their pawn, or their bishop. So I've run around the bishop maybe 2, maybe 1.5 times before they did blunder. So we didn't get to a draw, the 50 move rule draw. I guess I could explain that. It's basically, I should have looked it up. I believe it's when 50 moves have been made without a check or a piece, or without a checkmate or a piece being taken. Somewhere close to that. 50 moves with no real progress, basically. That's where I thought I would end up. But no, they blunder, and I get a stalemate, which, if nothing else, ends the game a bit early. Don't have to go through the boring 50 moves of nothing happening. But yeah, anger nearly cost me the game. And it probably about it. If my opponent would have been even, I don't want to insult anybody, even though I'm protecting their identity. Yeah. If they would have had some control over the board, they would have won. I saw several missed opportunities for checkmate. They didn't see them. Or they were playing some weird game of don't win but don't lose either. There's probably something like that going around, and people may be doing that. Maybe he was playing a game of, force the person into a stalemate. Okay, I'm not quite sure where I was. A phone rang and I decided that I would edit it out. But yeah, they were either not very good at chess at all, or there is the likely scenario they were playing some strange game of don't lose, but don't win, is what I was talking about. Basically, you know, rather than a checkmate, your goal is a stalemate, which they did eventually achieve. And in some ways, that's a much harder game to play. But yeah, that's what it ultimately ended up being. I think that it was probably more along the lines of a beginner, because I was playing on, you know, chess.com, and there's at least a setting, maybe I could turn it off after I understand the website a little bit better. But there's definitely a setting when you click on a piece, rather than the touch move rule, it just shows you all the moves that piece can make. It's not all that annoying for me. I kind of forget about the dots. I know the pieces very well, so it doesn't make any difference to me. But I think they may have been relying on those dots for where they can move. It basically makes anybody an instant amateur, and at least they know how the pieces move, because click on the piece and it shows you how they move. I think that might have been what happened. You know, if you're relying on, you know, clicking and looking at all the moves, you're not going to have control of the board. You know, it might help you be annoying and chase pieces around, because it's like, oh, well, this piece won't do it. This piece won't do it. Oh, this piece will do what I need it to do. Okay, we'll do that. An experienced player should have something for that. But I ended up getting angry first, which reduced me down a few hundred points in the ranking, and like I said, I should have lost. If they had any board control at all, I probably would have. Okay, anyway, yep. That game was about as clumsy as I described it. For every bit of clumsiness that I had describing how the game went, that's how clumsy the game went. But yeah, I at least managed to get a stalemate in the end. Good for me, even if he was, you know, after some weird goal. I was after the checkmate, but, you know, stalemate works. Okay, I'm sure that's a video in itself, but I said I would get to the plants. And, yeah, I intend to get to the plants. Let's do that. Let's do it now. Yeah. With the pollination project, I had a couple of opportunities to go from like white to yellow. Like there's a couple in the shot. That's really kind of pinky. It's got a pink base to it anyway. The petals are white, but you know the throat of the thing is very pink. But yeah, white to yellow. Except I really haven't had any success, even when I was trying to, you know, just get seeds. Didn't really care too much what the plant came out looking like. I just wanted to get seeds. It didn't work anyway. So this time I decided, rather than wasting the flowers on a pollination that, even if it is successful, it's not going to do much for me, I decided this time I would wait because I've got a red plant now. Well, red blooms. There's 4 of any decent size. There's 4 red ones. And yeah, I figure I'll wait for something that I actually kind of want. Probably orange, because I do have 2 yellow plants. And I'm thinking red with yellow will, possibly get me my orange. Or more reds and more yellows, or something weird that I may or may not like. But yeah, we could try for the orange with the red and the yellow, or we can try for the pink, or more pink, with the white and the red. And I say I guess you're following along with the journey, so we kind of works. Yeah, but I'm not just going to waste blooms trying with the 3 plants that I've got, because I've tried most, if not all the combinations, and none of them worked. So we'll get the red plant involved, provided it, yeah, we'll have some open blooms with one of these other 3. Maybe I'll try it to itself, if nothing else. I don't know. Okay, this video's going to be pretty long at this point, since I covered 2 topics. But I figured at least part of the video should actually be what the channel's about. Yeah, there is a thought of maybe doing another channel for my hobby of chess. 2 channels covering all 3 of my oldest hobbies? Maybe? What do you think? With that question, I'll let you think on it and talk to you next time.